every person that I talk to that is having relationship issues, it comes down to many times prioritizing productive and respectful communication. When people are having issues, a lot of times they are not prioritizing productive and respectful communication. So what do we mean by that? We mean creating a safe space with your words verbally, but not just your words, also your body language and facial expression. So I could be saying something to you, but rolling my eyes or crossing my arms and completely closed off, like, yeah, I'm fine. It's fine. We're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
Like, but my body language, obviously, and my facial expressions, obviously, are communicating something different versus being open to you, being soft, having a soft look on my face and saying, like, you know, and communicating that way. I think also speaking to the productive part, having an end goal, having something that is the target of the conversation. Like, what do we want to get out of this conversation? Do we even have the same end goal in mind?
Yeah.
It's hard to know when you've gotten there if you're not seeing it from the same, or if you don't have the same goal, I should say. If you have different goals for the conversation, you're not going to know when you're there because it's just a confusing mess. And I think also, you know, if communication is a thing that keeps coming up in your relationship, structuring regular check-ins, which we've talked about at length. If you're new to the medicine or if this is your first time listening, we have a whole episode where we talk about what a check-in is and the structure of a check-in. I think it's episode 113 if you want to go back and listen to that. But basically a check-in is a safe container to provide feedback to your partner that both people are entering into voluntarily and they know what's inside the check-in. So it's, you know, complimenting your partner, telling them where, you know, what they're doing really well and how what is going well in the relationship basically. And then on the backside of that, like what you need more of, what you would love more of, what you would want to see change a little bit. So that is a container that we call a check-in. And it's like changing the oil in your car. Some people need to do it more often. Some people, you know, that we speak to do a weekly check-in. Some people do a monthly check-in. You and I have gotten to the place where we are able to do them as needed, where when one of us is feeling something, that something needs to be addressed, if it's not urgent, then we just simply ask the other one, like, hey, can we schedule a check-in? And the other person knows exactly what that means. It's like, yeah, let's make sure we're in alignment moving forward in our relationship. So yeah, prioritizing productive and respectful communication. You cannot not have this and have your relationship be healthy.
Yeah. I mean, this one, obvious, right? Like good communication.
Yeah.
But I think because it's so obvious, like, you know, respectful and productive communication, what we might be missing is that leads to emotional safety, which leads to vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And vulnerability is the foundation for intimacy and emotional connection, which are the critical components to a healthy, thriving relationship. And so this one kind of, it's deeper than what it seems like, you know. And then beyond just the ability to like resolve conflicts like through a check-in or whatever, respectful communication can actually be a catalyst for innovative and creative solutions for what might be charged issues in the relationship, or even just logistical issues that don't have anything to do with the relationship. Let's say it's, hey, how do we financially plan for the goals that we want to have and not make this a disagreement or a charged conversation? Well, if you both understand that you're prioritizing productivity and respectful communication, you're both going to come to those conversations with a lot more courage to talk about innovative and creative solutions. It's just like in a working environment. You know, as I've been on various leadership teams and working environments, and you have your leadership meetings, if you feel like the CEO is going to just criticize everything that you have to say, they're not going to respect your words, they're more interested in showcasing their own narcissism in this setting than they actually are in getting productive, innovative, creative solutions out of that meeting, you're not going to want to speak up.
Right.
And so the same theme lives here. You can if you know that you're safe and you know that you can be vulnerable, you will be able to put forth really interesting, creative solutions on where and your relationship is going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
I think there's a lot here that's actually just like, oh yeah, totally communication, good communication. No, productive, respectful.
Yeah.
It's safe. And we're going to actually make something of this. Why are you having charged conversations if you don't want to get something positive or better on the other side of it?
Right.
And I think a lot of people just want to argue so that they can get their shit aired out and have the other person feel a little icky about it.
Yeah, this is where the growth happens. This is where the growth opportunities are in relationship, is having a disagreement or a charged conversation or a situation where you don't see eye to eye. The way that you handle yourself through that, it creates a snowball effect for moving on through your relationship. And people don't realize how many opportunities for growth they have in their relationship. And newsflash, no matter how perfect your partner is for you, you're my person. There's no one else in the world for me. I know that. We still have some charged conversations. It doesn't just go away when you find the one.
No.
When you find the right one. I would honestly be worried if there was zero disagreement or charged conversations on anything between a relationship. I'd be like, who's muffling their voice? Who is not speaking up? Who's suppressing what they actually think? Because I just don't think that exists where two people think the same things all the time, always.
Yeah. In part one, our charged conversations just didn't have any clear productivity about them, and there definitely wasn't respect. And so it's just like they were absent altogether.
Yeah.
And we would have charged conversation, but there was no like, all right, what are we going to do from here? Here's what I'm hearing from you. Here's what you're hearing from me. How do we commit to at least attempts at being better?
It was just all reactive.
And in part two, yes, we have charged conversations, and of course they get emotional. But we do close the space with, here's what I'm hearing from you, and here's what I'm committing to.
Yes.
As far as being better. We also don't hesitate to interject creativity or innovative ideas into how we can be better. And that happens both in our relationship as well as this podcast. We've had charged conversations around this podcast and how we want it to directionally orient and things of that nature. And because we know that both of us respect the things that we have to say, we can be as creative or innovative as we want to be, even if those are get very businessy, very, very almost cold because they're just very black and white and masculine.
The last thing I'm going to say here too is if you don't focus on specifically productive communication that your partner can metabolize, then issues are going to go unresolved. If you just get to the point where you can't look at each other anymore, dude guy takes a walk outside for an hour and, mom goes in and starts bathing the kids and they don't ever actually come to a resolution, there is a charge to the air. There's the feeling when we've had this many times, like in part one, where we would have a reactive, bout of communication and it wouldn't get resolved. That night, the next day, there is this air of awkwardness where you feel the unresolved nature of your dynamic. And then because it's unresolved, this is going to bleed into a point that's coming up. It's easily accessible to re-wound your partner going forward.
Thank you so much for listening.
If you enjoyed that, check out right over here for some more fun clips.
Oh, and you're going to want to subscribe.
Bye.